Boom. Look at that. Here we go. Greetings, all you Metamaniacs. This is Team NEG here with good old Maurice. Unfortunately, he's in a grouchy mood tonight. Are you grouchy still?
No, I'm here. I was just listening to see how it sounded.
Okay.
Hello, everyone.
Sounds okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi.
We are doing a patron gratitude stream. We were going to stream, across the board tonight, and lots of people were asking for that. And we just decided we like to go really in depth with things, and sometimes we can talk about things and teams and stuff with a smaller group in a little more depth and detail. So here we are. Preach it. We have grown, I don't know if you know this, but through your guys' support, we've grown to be the largest patron group in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes in a very short period of time. So we hope you guys are finding a lot of value in what we're providing to you, and if there's other things that you have ideas for us doing, we're absolutely open to that. We have set dates for our new workshop. Good old Maurice, could you post that poster, pretty please?
Okay.
And it will be next Thursday and Saturday. And we had a little kind of patron vote for that, what it was going to be. And that is going to be how to mod specific factions. We did a little bit of that in the Keystone Tunes workshop. If you haven't seen that and you're a new patron, you can go back and have a look at that. Just PM me for the link. Maybe I'll make a channel or something and post all the links for these workshops in there. And then additionally, what was additional?
Who is?
The live stream is offline. And it's back on. Okay. Second warrior, Sister Reggie. No. So anyway, that workshop is up and coming. It's going to cover Kira-led Scoundrels, First Order
and Nightsisters.
And Nightsisters, yes. And all the two of those, the first two will be offense and defense, how to use those teams. Slightly different makeup for First Order, certainly, for an offensive team. And then for Nightsisters, it will be raid and defense, specifically. All right. Here we go. Anything you want to add to that, good old Maurice?
No.
Okay. So tonight... That's okay. Really. I didn't know what I was going to say there, so I don't expect you to either. Tonight, we're going to talk about just kind of delving into this crazy TW we have. I mean, we were super open to the last TW. A lot of people were not open to the idea of removing characters from our roster. I don't have most of the characters that the bonuses are being given to, so... it's kind of like my advantage is being removed there, and the notice is so short for so many different things going on. So we're going to try and break it down for you. Good old Maurice, do you want to talk about the document that we got gifted?
Yeah, Prime Force. Thank you very much. He wrote a big document. It's in the Patreon chat, I guess. Few of you guys got in the voice chat or maybe chatted up, and it came up with this list of cool stuff. We'll pull it up now. This was made by you guys, actually.
Yes.
So
yes,
you guys prepped us ready. You guys did our show prep for us this time. This was very cool, so thank you very much, man.
Yeah, and thanks everyone for so much awesome theory crafting going on in the chat. So we're going to go, what are the bonuses, thoughts and considerations, just kind of brainstorming around that, team possibilities and questions. And we'll try to watch in the Discord chat as well for additional questions and conversation. I'm going to watch on YouTube, and maybe good on Maurice.
Yeah, I'm on YouTube. Oh, you're going to watch YouTube? I'll watch Discord?
Yes, please.
All right.
All right. Let's start with just the simple. We're going to start with a simple one, and the one that I find kind of not super interesting. The first order ships. So the bonus is great synergies. Oh, sorry, that's not the bonus. Here's the bonus. First order ships gain advantage for 2 turns at the start of the battle, and whenever they're inflicted with a debuff. If they have advantage when they use an ability, first order allies cover 10% health and 10% protection, and inflict target lock on a target enemy for 2 turns. You know, I have a first order fleet that takes first in my shard every day. It's you know, it's a good ship. It will beat me from time to. It's a good fleet. It will beat me from time to time. These advantages might make it a lot more difficult in a fleet environment, and probably a lot better on offense as well against the you know, kind of the dark side meta that's most common. I don't know if this is particularly scary. What do you think, Good Maurice?
I think if you're like a lower GP, you know, a smaller guild, a newer guild with newer players, this is probably going to be more impactful for you than it will be like the in-game guilds, because you're going to have some very, very well developed ships, you know, at the end game. But at the early game, you know, you could get a second team out of this. Like, let's say you guys probably have crew. You know, let's say your GP is like 2 million or below. You probably have your crew a little bit developed, and you probably have the other pilots unlocked maybe for BB-8s. So you have a serviceable fleet with the 2 pilots. You probably have all the characters at least unlocked. So you could have like an additional team, whereas you might not at the lower GP. I think you could kind of turn these Gear 6, 7 pilots into a serviceable cleanup team, if you will. So I think they'll come in handy. They are very cool. They are all very squishy ships. So this health protection, regeneration is going to be nice. And you got to have the shuttle though. Like, you really have to have those Omegas on that shuttle to really get. If you have your shuttle all the way Omega'd out, like just maxed out to the 9s, then you've got yourself a pretty baller fleet here. Otherwise, I don't know. I'm kind of going back and forth here. I can't make up my mind. Can you tell?
I think it's a nice little shout out to people who, there's a lot of, you know, first order fanboys and girls out there, and they obviously have the fleets, and they'll either be able to take them out and use them, or you know, dust them off and take them out and use them, or just have them, you know, as a viable offensive option. So, you know, I guess I'm okay with that.
Well, you just turn your silencer into just a Gatling gun, you know. Just try to get it to go as often as possible. Prime Force saying in the chat, yeah, advantage synergy too, you know, and there is the target lock, especially on the TIE pilot. So, you know, you could brush dust off that first order TIE pilot and have yourself a decent fleet. I guess you would do it. I don't know. Maybe offensively you do it under Akbar. I'm not really sure which capital ship to use, like Tarkin maybe. This Tarkin man, did he just fall all the way off? Like, just vanished from the meta. Like, it's crazy. No one uses Tarkin. There isn't a single Tarkin in my top 50 probably. Not a single one.
Yeah, with the Houndstooth there, Tarkins, I used Tarkin for, you know, I used Akbar for a month and Tarkin for a month, and now, you know, I go back and try and use it, and his AoE is so weak with the Houndstooth there. So let's see here. Okay, let's move on to the next. We're gonna get into all the juicy ones quick here. I guess these are just okay. So Jawas.
Who cares?
Yeah. So we're going through the who really cares stuff first. So Jawas have a 50% chance to stun the target. I mean, it's cool. A stun that cannot be evaded. I mean, it's a 50% chance, so it's still a roll of the dice. And they gain 20% offense for each stunned enemy, which means they're going to be hitting on their basic for what, Good Maurice? Like 55k?
Now,
I mean,
Jawa and
5.5k?
Daska do hit hard. If you mod them, and they have to be gear 12, you know. So I mean, if they hit hard. Jawa can deliver some pain. He actually has a decent basic attack, just super dated kit. He's just like basic attack, stun move, unique. Basic attack. It's like Geonosian Soldier, like just a dated kit. But this does kind of give him some pop. But the thing about this is whatever team that you're going to take mods off of to develop this team, like let's say, because they're going to have to go very fast, and they are very, very slow characters with the exception of Engineer. They're very slow, all of them, and just you're going to have to take mods off one of your better teams to make these Jawas work. Chances are, it's going to be a coin flip. I mean, the original team that you took the mods off will probably function just as well as this team. And this is a lot of bells and whistles, lots of stuns, lots of potency rolls. I think the stuns cannot be evaded, right?
That's right, but the shocks
they do have
can.
shock. And T-Money and I were talking about this before the stream. You think of shock, and you're like, oh, the Palpatine lead. I just think Palpatine will be better in a traditional Palpatine team. Again, you're not going to go rolling in there with some Gear 9 Jawas and kill anything. You might stun lock them in timeout. You might get a little bit of shock on them and get some of their max health down, but you still have to kill them. I mean, they're just Gear 9 and 10 isn't going to cut it in the damage department. But
unless you're facing other Gear 9 10 Jawas, and you can, it could make some folks Jawas usable depending on who you're facing, like what the GP of your guild is facing and how diverse the board is. Just an eagle's eye thought that comes to my mind is that we have, there's a lot of characters in our game now. What is it, 168? Most people have been in this game for 1, 2, 3, 4 arena metas. And so we have a lot on our roster already. And when we have a full TW, I think one of the things that you're going to have to remember for this TW in particular is there is so much offense. And what these bonuses do is it increases our offense. Like if we have like 10 strong, like I can't speak for all guilds, it could be anywhere from like, 3 teams that can just take out anything on offense to like 5 or 6. Well, now we might have 6 or 7 teams that can take out absolutely anything on the board. So back in the day, at the beginning of TW, you could put a very strong defense on and have a guild, get stuck. We did with this last ban that was on. We had the guild couldn't clear our board because we put a very strong defense on. That's not going to be the case. I would imagine that every single board, depending on participation levels, is going to be cleared this time. So yeah. So that's... You don't think so?
I totally disagree with you.
Really?
We can sit here in theory craft and all these teams all you want, but if you're facing 2 rows of these brand new Super Ewoks with their Paploos with like 120, you can't outspeed Paplu. I mean, you're gonna have you might have a set or 2 in your entire roster that can outspeed Paplu. You're only gonna have one chance with your nest. If you get in there and screw it up, then you're screwed. You don't have anything left that can beat that team. They have no cooldowns.
Okay, let's talk about that next.
Turn,
yeah.
You just put 2 Ewoks in the front, 2 rows of Imperial Troopers somewhere in the front 4 zones. Good luck. Just because no one knows how to face them.
Yeah, even this. So that's the Ewoks. It's just simple 0 cooldowns on all abilities. And here's just some of the points. They're yes, super scary OP, and you simply cannot allow them to start. We were facing a zone in our last match, and they were obviously like if a guild has 50 Ewoks, these were their 25 worst Ewoks. Maybe a couple of stronger teams, but they were slow. But it's scary because you're like, they're a direct counter to CLS, so you can't go ahead and use CLS against them without being super careful. We didn't have Han, so you can't stun Paplu. So what do? You just kind of have to make sure that you're faster than them. So they just simply can't be allowed to start. there's a piece around the Reddit. We'll find that Reddit post again. No cooldowns means that any first bad choices on the AI will make constantly repeated. What does that mean? I think Fatal Moon has to come in here.
What are you looking at, his sheet?
Do the stream with us. No, go ahead.
Well, we kind of jumped off the Jawas. I will say, real quick, if you guys have well-developed bounty hunters, Jawa Scavenger is going to fit in really, really nicely with like a Zam Wessel lead. You can make like your meta bounty hunter team, and you can make like a Zam Wessel lead. And now you have a Jawa that's going to land additional bombs when he's attacked. He's going to stun, and he's going to shock. So you're going to have the bomb, you have the thermal detonators, and then you're also going to have the shock, just constantly dealing max health based like percentage damage. You know, because it's not like Zam Wessel really, you know, brings the mustard with her to, you know, she's critting for like 8K. So I mean that will come in handy. Sorry. And yeah, Jawa Engineer. Jawa Engineer is going to stun. It'll be interesting to see. It says when they use an ability, like let's say he uses his crit chance up, speed up move. I'm assuming that will have a chance to stun the opposing character, even though he doesn't attack him. I don't know exactly how it's going to work. Nobody really knows how any of this is going to work. They're just like, here, guys.
Yeah.
TW starts tomorrow.
I personally think this is why they took like test accounts away from us. And if we still had them back, I bet you there would be no going into territory wars, looking at the bonuses sort of thing. Like it's the unknown that kind of drives people to be like, maybe I'll just put that gear 11 piece on my engineer or whatever it is, you know?
Yeah. So we can move on to the facts. I mean, if you guys have geared 11, 12 Jawas, like, if you've been playing a while, we all got tricked when the tank raid came out. Remember, oh, the Jawas are going to be awesome. No, they were not. They were not awesome at all. So if you were one of those guys that, you know, bought into the Ugnaught Jawa hype, then this is your time to shine. By all means, go nuts with them, but I wouldn't go too crazy with the theory crafting if your guild's got gear 8, 9, like just good enough Jawas to beat the old crit damage challenge. I wouldn't even waste time. I'd focus on the other factions.
Mm-hmm. But for those key characters, you know, like Engineer, lots of people have Engineer done. You know, maybe there's a way to work them in, like you said. And for those,
well, that like I said, if Engineer, if an ability, if they have a chance to stun even though they don't attack, Engineer is super nasty. On a traditional, even you could even use the old school droid team, HK 88, 86, Nebbit, and Jawa Engineer. Because not only if it works like I'm thinking it does, he'll speed all the droids up, and at the same time, if there's no pre-taunt, you can stun anybody on the other team that you want first. You know, because you're gonna go faster. So if that's how it works, the droid team, the old school droid team, is actually usable. And this is one of the teams that you might be able to get out in front of these super Ewok teams, especially if you got that 88 Zeta. You know, this is a team, lots of stuns, and they're not going to have tenacity up at the beginning. And then you're also going to have Nebbit, who's going to stun as well. That's a if the mechanic works like I think it should, this might be a counter to the Ewoks. So,
all right.
Maybe I'm just talking out of my butt. I don't know.
That's what theory crafting is all about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, do you want to talk? Okay, so I'm just getting here from Fatal that on defense. So we've been looking into this infinite loop that mechanic. So this is probably wrong what I've said. This second point here. What is it? Teebo has an ability that gives everybody 100%, all the Ewoks 100% turn meter, but he does not use it as the AI on defense. So that would have to be, if there's any infinite loop to be happening, it will probably be an offensive tool. Is that...
well, this is something...
Is that what you're thinking, Fatal?
Yeah, that's...
Reddit has been a buzz about this today.
Whoopsie. You know, well, just think with Teebo, every single turn you can either give 100% turn meter Ewoks, but I don't know how many Ewoks you're really going to have I guess if you wanted to keep them for offense, I don't know. I just feel like he would be better. Yeah, you almost have to use him with Ewoks. I thought at least he gave a little bit of turn meter to. It's been so long since I used Teebo. It's Ewok specific. He gets a turn meter. But hell, you could just use it with Teebo and Ewok Scout. You know, if you wanted to field like your traditional Chirpa team, excuse me, you could just put him with Ewok Scout, and Ewok Scout's going to be right in the loop with him, right? Is that the loop that you're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Because then you could feasibly have 2 teams. And, you know, you were mentioning prior to the stream, it's probably going to be better to keep Elder on offense. I think I agree with you. Just because, like you said, Elder's never be using his basic attack. He's just going to be healing every turn and cleansing. So, like, you don't get any benefit from that turn meter from Ewok Elder. And plus, and we'll get to these troopers in a minute, you're going to need Elder to get through these troopers. So, yeah.
And there's only one of these teams that's really synergistic with each other. All of the rest of them, you know, it just says, like, the deal is that Ewoks cooldowns are always like, they have no cooldowns, right? So that means Elder will revive every single turn, no matter what team he's on. He doesn't have to be on an Ewok team, you know, and Teebo would be in stealth, you know, infinitely. He'll never ever come out of stealth. So if you're fighting a team that doesn't have any AoEs, then, you know, then off you go with Teebo. And if you are fighting a team with AoEs, well, then you can reduce turn meter on them every single time he takes a turn. The Ewoks tend to be slow without that Chirpa additional help, and, you know, like, just we're thinking this through, you know, but they will not be using their basics. The AI never favors a basic if a special ability is on cooldown, so it will always use the special abilities. So Chirpa's leadership will apply to the assist mechanics, which there are a number of them with Ewoks, but it'll lose a lot of its luster, which is, you know, that's why they just feed so much turn meter. And then Elder 2, you know, what's Elder's actual unique? So it's not the unique, it's the basic.
C3PO is a good match with Teebo. That's a good suggestion.
How so?
Yeah. I like Elder on offense. It's just, I mean, if this if this endless ranks, I'm assuming it's going to be, like, prepared, or, like, just you can't cleanse it. If you can cleanse it, it's really stupid. But we're not going to know that until it starts, which is unfortunate. I'm trying to ask some people if anybody has any sort of verification of exactly what that is. If it's a buff, if it's just an icon, if it can be cleansed. I mean, I'm assuming it can't be copied, but, you know, if it can be blocked, you know, I don't know.
Let's see here. Let's go. Okay, do you want to go Imperial Troopers now? Are we done with Ewoks?
No. I was just we're still talking about Ewoks. I'm just saying Ewok. If the endless ranks on the troopers is basically going to make them, you have to waste all of. You have to outlive them. They could revive themselves up to 10 times, depending on the stacks, right? So you have to waste all those stacks. But at the same time, that means you're just going to have to. You know, you're going to have to survive, you know, 85 AoEs from Snowtrooper and Veers.
Okay, let's talk about Imperial Troopers then. So it doesn't say that it's a buff.
But it also doesn't say this cannot be copied, dispelled, cleansed.
Yeah. So just put Ventress in there. You know, send somebody in to scout the battle. It's like, oh, it's a buff. Send Ventress in, and then, you know, you're all done. But so okay, at the start of the battle, gain 5 stacks of something. It's called Endless Rank. We don't know if it's a buff or it's like a little blue piece. It is a buff. Fatal says it is a buff.
Yeah, if it's a buff, then that's really silly. Because you could just go in with, I don't know, perhaps Cody, or not Cody, Echo, for these newly revamped clone troopers. Just anybody with AoE Dispel, just poof, just gone.
Yeah.
That'd be really dumb.
So what I'm getting here with Ewoks, like I was thinking these are very, very defensive teams, but maybe not, you know? You know, if you can go in there with, yes, like Fatal said, Nightsisters, outspeed them, get ahead of the troop.
How do you get Ewoks with Nightsisters?
Pardon me? Pardon me?
I mean, you can do it without the Plague, I guess. Plague's worthless versus Ewoks. You know what I mean? It's like trying to plague a Traya team. There's so much healing on the team.
Okay, so sorry, go ahead.
Know what were you saying?
Hold on one second.
I don't know. I really like this Teebo Scout XYZ. Teebo Scout, 3 tanks. Just go nuts. Huh.
Okay, so do you want to go back to Ewoks, or are going to talk about Imperial Troopers?
No, just back to the Nightsisters. You're not going to be able to outspeed. There's nobody on the Nightsisters that can go faster than Paplu.
Oh,
you know.
I was talking about Imperial Troopers, which is kind of the same deal. I mean, they do have that bonus, and Stark Space speed is so much higher than any of the stinky slow Nightsisters. I mean, Ventress. No, you could probably get Ventress faster. I think my Ventress has like a speed of like an actual speed of 310 when she starts
it depends.
the battle.
It depends. If Endless,
Oh, they start with that, so she's gonna be slow.
Because Boba Fett's Mandalorian yakety smackety counts as a buff and was slow, and Asajj doesn't get that. Or it used to. Well, back when I used to run like Asajj with like Biston in Arena, like Boba Fett, like I had to put Asajj in the leadership position to get that extra speed. If they had like a Boba Fett and a tank on their team, like a pre-taunt. Like that's the only I would have to put her leader to have her go first. So.
Yeah, the suggestion by Fatal was Nightsisters versus Imperial Troopers, not Ewoks. Sorry if I said that incorrectly.
Yeah, it would work. Because I mean, Asajj would definitely get ramped up pretty quickly, but it all depends. Now, if they die, well, I think it specifically says if they're revived, correct? You know, if they completely die and then are instantly revived, then that would fuel Asajj, but it would shed the plague, right?
Yes.
Or if it's like a Revan type L3 Zeta revive, like pseudo revive type of thing, I don't know if that would activate Asajj, or you'd think the plague would still be on them too, maybe. So. Well, no, actually, no.
Usually, that ability reads they're brought to 1% health and then back up to whatever it is. This
100% health. So the plague's out regardless of whatever scenario it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm imagining that it does count towards Ventress's stacking offense.
I mean, the absolute safest bet here for this team, Nightsisters are obviously good. I mean, they're kind of the troopers now. But you got to keep your Kira teams. You know. You got to keep your Kira teams, and you probably got to use Young Han to fuel protection, just constantly fuel protection to Vandor every time. That way, he's always got prepared. You just fuel him every single time. Doesn't even matter if he's got just a little bit gone. Just try to keep him as close to max protection as possible. And there's so much protection regeneration on that team, and the countering. You've got the dots. because the troopers, unless there's some, yeah, the troopers really have no cleanse, so you're gonna have lots of dots. A Karth team, if you guys have Karth, would be probably pretty good versus team. A Vader lead, Vader lead with like Wampa, Mission, Zalbar, some sort of Canderous, all these new characters. That would be a good counter for this, as long as you could stay alive. Maybe like Vader, Wampa, you know, XY Ewok Yoder would be kind of a good makeshift team, because you need the dots, because they're not gonna be able to get rid of them. Even if they die, the dots come right back. I think. So I'm just brainstorming. I don't know if any of this is actually going to work, but
there's a lot of amazing suggestions in chat. Like, this is, you know, I love this. I do love when they put bonuses and restrictions, but you know, I can see how this is a little bit more fun. Which ones do they wanted to say here? Rick is saying, can they revive if they're alone? Yes, they can. They can go on 8 different teams. I think they're probably much more powerful together, because they do have that synergy of giving, what is it? Where's health? So they I wonder if they lose their stacks when they die, or if they keep their stacks and lose 1.
They all lose 1 if one of them dies.
They all lose 1, but I wonder if the revived one keeps 4 stacks, or comes back with a none, or takes 1 from everybody else. Like, is that what consume means? Like, so if there's 5, 1 dies, they come back. Does that 1 get 4? That's kind of how it reads.
Yeah, I don't know. Nobody knows.
Yeah, nobody knows. So they could probably revive. They can revive if they're alone. Yes. But can they do it again? Right? Can they do it repeatedly? Do they keep the buff? I'm just looking. I'm reading chat here. So the only problem with Imperial Troopers, I mean, this is an incredible team. It will be, if nothing else, super confusing. And the AI is very stupid. It starts with Stark's AoE instead of his buffs. So they don't benefit from that from that speed bonus from Stark. Basically, you have to make Veers faster on the team, because when he does use his AoE first, and they'll get buffs from that and get going. So, and I think he's the next best base speed on that team. They don't have terrible base. Some of them have good base speed. Some of them have terrible base speeds. Let me see here what the other piece was. Yeah, so some of the points that you guys made in chat previously was high potential for a timeout. Troopers get the bonus regardless of the lead. Yeah, so you can put them on different teams. Any team that revives will give max stacks. I don't think Nightsisters are going on defense for many guilds this war. You know, certainly if they go on defense, they're going to have Nest. But I think Imperial Troopers will just mow these guys down. And
Nightsisters are super susceptible to AoE, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. And even if they die, they revive and they've
buffed.
got their cooldowns and everything, so.
I mean, all these teams that are buffed that we're going to see potentially on defense all have endless AoEs now. The troopers just won't die. They keep living. You know, Wicket with his spamming of the AoE every single turn, and then potentially getting another turn. So, you know, so it's going to be I don't know. If Fatal's saying Nightsisters with a Imperial Trooper tank, that would be pretty cool. Either Stormtrooper or Shore Trooper are kind of versatile. They get like 5 lives, I guess, on any team. So that's something to, that's something to consider.
So Brad's saying revive 5 times. It reduces a stack each death from each Imperial Trooper. Okay. Okay. So it revives, and then there's 4 on everybody, and then they revive in 3. So they can gain them too, though, can't they?
Yeah, yeah. Like if you put your Shore Trooper on a Nightsister team, was a suggestion he made. Every time you kill an enemy, he'll get a stack. Every time he dies,
yes,
he loses a stack.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, you have a Nightsister zombie trooper. You know, you have a Shore zombie.
Nasty, with 100% health and protection. Unless you can remove that buff. Anything else you want to say about Imperial Troopers, Comrades? Oh, here, we have a few more things. Oh, yeah, there's benefits to dying, you know. The comment was swing above your head at squads that will kill you for the, you know, the damage and turn meter bonuses, or sorry, the cooldown and turn meter bonuses. Yes, and Darth Nihilus is going to be, whatever that word is there, is supposed to be key. His Annihilate, like, I haven't got this confirmed, but his Annihilate works on everyone except Zombie. Zombie is different, and they've explained it to me that you can think of it as there's a new zombie reviving every time. Like, it's not the same zombie. That's why Annihilate works. It's a new, fresh zombie, like, rising from the dead in the place of the other zombie. Kind of harkening back to that the cartoon with where like all of the zombies are coming out of the pods, and everywhere there's just like it's the endless horde. All right, talking about Stormtrooper Zeta in chat. Do you have that, Zeta?
Is that a serious question?
Yeah.
No. No, I do not.
Okay.
Wow, Stormtrooper Zeta is cool. If any of you guys put a Zeta on Stormtrooper, well, I guess if you have it, it is cool for 1 TW. Oh, Mindtrix has it. Well, Mindtrix, congratulations, your Stormtrooper might be basic attacking for, I don't know, 800,000. Yes. So congratulations. That Zeta is really going to come in handy. I hope you keep it for offense and record some goodies.
Oh. Okay. So
he could be the tank on your Finn C-3PO team. Stormtrooper could. A tank that never dies, that exposes, and I don't know.
That's pretty good. He's pretty fast too, isn't he?
I don't know.
He's got a pretty fast base speed.
He's an agility-based tank. He's kind of like Poe. Like, he doesn't take the Carbonis and stuff. He takes tons and tons of syringes. I remember when I was building him. The only reason I built him is because I needed a tank. I was doing a couple of attackers and wanted, like, I had tank gear to spare, and I started him, and it took me months to finish Stormtrooper. Stormtrooper's a really good character under Veers. I actually like him better than Shore Trooper and Imperial Trooper team.
It's got a crappy base speed.
Yeah, 137. That's not terrible, though, for a tank.
Oh, it's just because mine's so low gear. That's why. Mine's at 113 right now at gear 9, so that's not going to cut it.
Yeah. He's a decent tank. Mine's only gear... I mean, I don't have him gear 12. I got him gear 11. Very, very poor health protection stats for a tank, but very good defense. Not the best resistance in the world, but he does have the 40% defense for each living Empire ally, so I don't know why we're.
Oh, is
we're
First
going
Order
into this about
Stormtrooper? Well, that's a wonderful Zeta mind tricks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Zeta
Yeah,
is just
man.
fine. It's one of the
That
next
is a
on my
good
list
Zeta.
for gearing and so yeah, I think, I mean, the general approach to this war, you know, come into chat into Discord and we can continue to talk it out, but it's really looking at these teams, you know, what are they vulnerable to if you find them on offense, and what are they going to, sorry, if you find them on defense, and what can they take down on offense. And really the troopers seem like they can take down pretty much anything. Like they're going to be they're gonna have to take a lot of thought before you go into a match. But you know, Traya, I don't know, do you think, like, what do you think about, I don't think anybody's going to count on Imperial troopers to take down Revan. You know, maybe somebody will test it, and if it's really easy, then the guild can use that if they come across a Revan wall. But it's not going to be like part of your game plan, certainly. What do you think about the troopers? Is there a team that they can or can't take down? What do you think about that?
If the team doesn't include Death Trooper, there might be some problems with Traya. A very, very tanky Traya team could potentially win, or maybe give them a little bit of hard time on defense. Just because none of the troopers, with the exception of Deathmark and Death Trooper, maybe Snow Trooper, they really don't have just like nuke type damage, unless there's just one I'm clearly missing. You know, they kind of AoE you to death. You know, Snow Trooper can crit for 20k on his AoE, but that's not going to kill your Darth Nihilus or Darth Scion. You know, his basic attack is very high, but again, you're not going to kill just with one basic. You know, I guess if Range Trooper starts going nuts and keeps calling, you know, Snow Trooper every time, I guess you could have an issue. But you know, the Sith get a lot of health back, especially if you use like a Sith Trooper that counters. Like Dooku, we made that video about Dooku. Dooku would be very good on that team, just to kind of fuel they'd have counters. Then again, Dooku would die, but you know, just the countering mechanic that would regenerate health through Traya, maybe. This is all theory crafting. I don't know. I mean, I clearly haven't tested any of this stuff, but so what are your initial thoughts? Like, let's say you guys come across a zone of Imperial troopers right in the beginning. What are you going to use?
Well, I mean, they really do have to get going. And whenever you take down an Imperial trooper squad, you have to, there has to be someone. They're a lot like the Ewoks. Once they get going, it's hard to stop them. So, you know, Thrawn is going to want to come on offense. You know, I don't like seeing Thrawn or Rey on defense ever. They're just too flexible. You're just, there's very, very few zones to get stuck in if you have those, you know, six characters for those modded well. And this TW, you're gonna want to have your second if you have Revan, you're gonna want to have your second fastest set on Thrawn. I think if you have Ewoks, maybe that third fastest is going to Paplu. And that's kind of just a good way to gauge in your roster, you know, how fast is your Stark? How fast is your Paplu? Well, just assume that whatever guild you're going up against, fingers crossed, has, you know, is an even match. Well, make your Thrawn faster than both of those, and then you can put him in your pocket, and you know that you can debilitate one of those two characters when you come across them. So, you know, Thrawn is going to be super important to take down Imperial troopers, and fracturing Stark, and off you go. Thrawn lead is I stumble on Thrawn lead because I use them very specifically with Magmatrooper, but the Imperial troopers are very AoE and debuff oriented. They put like a crap load of AoEs on characters, and so you know, a Thrawn with a Death Trooper behind them, as long as there's not ability block landing, it's gonna push them to have a lot of turn meter. But Thrawn is going to be super key on this. I think Nest might come off of defense and come on to offense. But yeah, I think the question is, you know, who, if you have all of the characters for your guild, who's going on defense? I don't know if Imperial Troopers will go on defense. KP will probably convince me otherwise, and we'll find a way to protect them. But as of right now, it's I don't see them being a threat as long as you can outspeed them and fracture with debilitate Stark, however you want to do that, you know, stun them with EP, or, you know, just some way to debilitate those guys and stop them from getting going.
Hold on.
You can fin cheese everything.
You guys keep like it's just a given that Thrawn goes before Stark, right? Stark has a higher base speed than Thrawn, and he gets the bonus from any Veers lead if you run that. You know, that's not like an easy thing to do.
But he'll use his AoE first. So basically, you have to be able to go faster than him on faster than Veers, right? If that's how the AoE is going to behave, he'll use his AoE. They don't get buffs from that, and then Veers' AoE, they do get buffs from that, or Shore's taunt, Shore's taunt, or, you know, whoever else is fastest, you have to basically go before that character.
Right, but Veers, with his leadership bonus, has a faster base speed than Thrawn as well. You know, I'm not like criticizing.
No, let's talk it through. It's fine.
Like,
yeah,
like you can't just like shoo it in as, oh, no problem, I'll just make Thrawn faster. Like, that's, you know, you've got 7 speed to overcome to tie Veers So you'll have to make Thrawn very, very fast. I definitely think Nest will be the recipient of my fastest mod set, just out of sheer fear of the Ewoks. that's you know, that's going to be tough. I really think a scoundrel team, if you have the pieces, can take these troopers on no problem. But you do need some pretty specific pieces, and you're probably going to need a Zeta on Young Han, which is not a very popular choice. And I don't know how many people have that. But
like a scoundrel team with Nast on it.
Yeah. No. Kira team can counter whatever you guys are used to. Your standard Kira team can counter the troopers if you have them modded. They're just, again, it comes back to the troopers not having burst damage, and you'll need Young Han for A, the protection to Vandor to keep them all alive, and B, just to ramp up his special so he can just pretty much, because there is going to be an issue of timing out, and then whenever Young Han has a special, he can just one shot any character on the other side. You know, just boom, 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 just take him down and try to get rid of some of them. I don't know. I don't know the best strategy for this. I mean, I guess if they have 4 stacks and you just like AoE them to death and they all 4 die at once, you win. You know, let's say there's 5 stacks. Like, let's say for somehow you just have this move in your arsenal where you can come in and one shot the whole team first move. Do they all get to revive and have no stacks? Do you win? Like, how does that work?
I don't know, but I cannot see this going off without a bunch of bugs.
Yes. Go ahead and plan on that.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, when have they ever introduced one character, you know, like okay, maybe one character has been introduced without bugs, but, you know, every 10 characters, there's a bug or two, you know, minor or major. They're changing, you know, 20 characters. I personally think that these bonuses did not need to be all at once. I think it's just too much. Like in the last one, what was it? Mace had the bonus, Cup and Dooku, right? And they said, and Grievous, and they said, we're going to, you know, cycle these guys. And it's like, oh, great. And they just like threw, you know, how many characters? Like 30 characters at us with their bonuses? Like, it's insane. Plus the ships.
Well, so they learned their lesson on this one. They're like, boom, announcement. They don't have time to complain. Go. Just like, That's pretty much what happened here.
Fatal
But I will
Sig.
say it's always better received when you add something instead of, take something away. Like nerfing a character or just removing them from the TW altogether when people have invested their time and resources into that character pisses people off. But when you make, in this case, Jawas, Ewoks, clone troopers, Imperial troopers are arguably a very, very good team. But clone trooper, like these are characters that you might have that you're not using at all. You could use them for a TW.
The last
and then they're
one,
back to normal.
yeah, they're back to normal. Yeah, and it is like a lot of these like clone troopers, Jawas, those two certainly are a lot of times I think they give like a little shout out to day one players by making characters relevant again. And I think that certainly, I don't know if the Jawas were ever relevant, but if you were trying to beat the Hat Raid way back when, you may have a full team of them in anticipation of them actually being useful there, which they really weren't. But lots of day one players have clones, and so for the higher guilds or people in guilds that are quite mixed with I'd say my guild's really mixed. It's got like a lot of pay to play players who've grown really quickly, and a lot of day one players who are more free to play, and so those guys have the clones, and a lot of us don't. And so let's read the clones now. That's the last faction we have to go to. Oh, did the stream die? I don't know. Oh, it's just spinning. Hold on.
Yeah, you're right about the bugs. This is going to come out like, oops. Snowtrooper accidentally has 350 base speed now. Oopsie. Sorry. We broke it.
Yeah.
Fatal. Is the stream dead?
I think the stream's spinning and spinning here. Let's see if I can fix my internet. Which I have no idea how to do, obviously. Okay.
Maybe the Discord and Skype at the same time is bogging it down a little bit.
I think maybe, yeah. My computer just does not like Discord. I don't know. I think it might send it through something where it thinks it's like spammy
let's just
or something.
log out of we can always just, you can log out. We can just go back to Skype if you want to do that.
Sure, let's do that. Let's try that.
I'll stay in here in the chat. If you guys are more than welcome to speak up. You guys can talk. We've just been rambling off.
Am I even in there?
Yeah, there's a lot of people in here. 1, 2, 3,
I'm
4,
not in there.
5, 6. You're
I'm
in
not
there.
even in that
You're
chat.
in the Discord.
Oh, this is the wrong Discord. It might sound funny for you, good old Maurice. I'm not sure.
No, you sound fine.
Okay. All right. Okay, it's been fine for some people and not for others. It is spinning for me on the stream. Okay, let's do our last faction, which is Clone Troopers. At the start of the battle, Clone Troopers gain 50% health, 50% protection, 50% offense, and 50% defense for each Clone Trooper ally. They gain 100% critical chance and critical damage while they have no debuffs. And when they attack out of turn, which they do a lot, they dispel all debuffs on other Clone Trooper allies, dispel all buffs on the target enemy, and gain 20% turn meter. So this is nice. This kind of reads like, a kind of viable long-term kit for the Clone Troopers, actually, like it doesn't seem too OP, but it seems like a really usable kit. Let's go into...
That's pretty OP.
Is it pretty OP? Well, I guess, yeah. I mean, the health bonuses are certainly...
We're going to give them... Basically, what are they missing? Oh, yeah, everything. Let's just give them all that. Let's give them...
Well, the thing they're still missing is speed, right? Like...
No, not anymore. No, ma'am. Cody is lightning fast. He's one of the fastest characters in the game, and he's the one that does the AoE call to assist. And every time clones attack out of turn, they get 20%. They're
getting turn meter.
Yes, so they're just going and going and going. This is going to be very similar to Wicket's AoE. That's going to be silly. This is going to be silly. Just I don't know if this is. I don't know if this will work against the Ewoks or the troopers. Maybe. I mean,
This is the one team that could be really defensive.
Could
in
be,
my opinion,
because when they don't have any debuffs, they're going to get 100% critical damage and 100% crit chance, which means that you can mod them just either purely for offense or you can mod them just to be tanky as hell. They don't need any crit chance. They don't need any crit damage. I mean, the more the merrier, obviously, for crit damage. But, crit chance, you could almost completely neglect modding them for crit chance, especially if you use Rex. You don't even need Rex because when they attack of a turn, Clone Troopers just go ahead and dispel all debuffs on all other Clone Trooper allies. Right? So if any of them go out of turn, all the debuffs, at least on paper here, are gone. So you don't need to worry about crit chance, which is cool.
Yeah, I mean, you've got 5s, right? I mean, days is going to be important, but 5s goes. Days
okay, well,
forever.
Well, that's perfect. You could neglect the critical chance and just go full bore tenacity. If you wanted to on 5s, maybe. So But again, anytime somebody goes out of turn, and Cody's going to have that assist move pretty much every turn. Hopefully, I don't think this is a good spot for Leia. I think you're going to want a tank, maybe like a Scarab Pathfinder, maybe Stormtrooper. I mean, any Imperial Trooper tank would be cool there. Shore Trooper would be nice on this team. That'd be pretty nasty, actually. And then Rex is going to get these bonuses as well, even if you put him with a Wampa or whatever team you're running with Rex. Like he's not going to get the huge bonus, but he will get 50% health, protection, offense, and defense because he is a Clone Trooper ally. But if you put him on a full clone team and use all 5 clones, they're all going to get, I guess, 250 of each of those.
Can you imagine 5s? That's
5s, 250 defense, 250% defense.
Nasty. And under General Kenobi, like a lot of people are talking about under General Kenobi lead with 5s taunting all the time and the additional bonuses to survivability under Kenobi. It's like, they'll lose some because they won't have all clones there. But if you put Barriss, like a crazy well-modded Barriss and Kenobi and 5s, exchanging taunt with each other all the time.
Excuse me.
And, critical avoidance being spread around. It's just, a lot of, I think the biggest bonus really is the kind of unsaid one, which is that you have to think these through without actually seeing them. So something that you can do if you are coming up against these teams, something that we do most wars, if there's something that we've never seen before, or if we're maybe haven't seen it in a while, or a little rusty on it, then or if the mod builds are a little bit different, then we send in somebody to take a video, and we just we get made fun of a lot of times in the Territory War server because it's like, you guys haven't started yet and it's 45 minutes. It's like, well, the video is uploading, so we're just gonna wait for that. But you're gonna want to show people what this looks like so that you're just not that you have 1 lamb to the slaughter and not 50 lambs to the slaughter if you're facing zones of clone troopers and Imperial troopers and everything. And sometimes it might take, like I usually send in officers, and sometimes it might take a few officers to kind of figure it out. Maybe there's a loss between them or whatever, but that's it's gonna be they've made a lot of freaking work for people that are really interested in Territory Wars. This is a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It's going to be a lot of work to manage this war.
Well, the good thing about this one opposed to that voting one is because they remove key components before and cripple your team. I mean, even if sure, you want to plan, to face it, to place it, but for the most part, all these factions we discussed, you could just plug them right in like you normally would. You could just use the same 5 characters that you already have modded. They're just going to be better, right? Like you don't have to. Like a lot of people having fun. We're theory crafting and making makeshift teams out of everything, but we only have a day to prepare. Let's be real, right? You have one day, so you could just decide which ones you want to run, and then just call for troopers here, Ewoks here, clone troopers here. That GK team you guys were talking about, you mentioned a second ago, place that here. Whatever the case may be, place your Jawas in the front. I don't know. You can just throw them in there. They're really not any different than, I'm sure everybody in your guild has an Imperial Trooper team, of some sort. It might not be the 5 best per se, but they have one. And that team is going to be pretty good, regardless of which characters are in it.
Mm-hmm. And I do think that, going back to the beginning, where we're talking about, offensive versus defensive balance, I do, up in my GP range, it's very, very much an offensive game. This last war, we had the ability to put more on defense and struggle through. This war, I think this war, you will see a lot of scores from guilds that are already used to being very offensively focused. Above, I think 21,150 is the top TW score. I think you'll see a lot of scores above 21,000, and this might be the war that you see perfect scores if people hold their Imperial troopers, their Ewoks, their Revan, their Traya. Well, how are you gonna lose? So it's possible that you could see this could be the first war where we see a perfect score. I don't think there's been one yet. There's been close, but there's been one above 21,100, I think, but or like right around there. But this might be the first war you see a perfect score. So yeah. Anything else to talk about, Maurice? Oh, our questions. Yikes.
Save your Jedi. Do not place Revan or Bastila on defense. I think you can counter probably the troopers with either Revan or Bastila, or at least have a good shot, have a chance. Perhaps. That's a decent thing to have in your pocket. We talked about Traya. I don't know. Kira, you guys might want to keep your Kira teams and First Order teams. I don't know what.
Is the stream actually working?
I'm not sure. Hold on.
If people are in chat, can you just confirm for me that it's working? I can't see.
Yes, it's working.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry I interrupted you. You were saying keep Kira teams.
Yeah, keep Kira teams, because it's going to be a battle of attrition versus the clone troopers, and even versus the Ewoks are going to win, though, unfortunately, probably. But against the not clone troopers, the imps, you can outlast them. You just have to you have to have lots of survivability. Like you probably want to stack L3 with massive amounts of health. That way when she counters, when she's basic attacking, whatever she's doing, she's stacking health. And you can pretty much bring them all. Anytime you heal, it'll be 100%. You'll fill them all the way up. All your characters. Lots of protection for Zalbar. If you got that Zeta, especially for Mission and Zalbar both. You can outlast characters with that team. I just don't know. You might time out. That's why I was suggesting Young Han, but that's not somebody you're going to develop in the next, 8 hours. So,
All right, let's do some questions. Okay, so first, just a brainstorm of remodding. And Maurice, you might just chime in what you agree with or disagree with. We're stronger because our opinions are different. Obviously, fast set onto Paplu, as well as a fast set, faster set with critical damage and high critical chance onto Wicket. I think that's going to be, I think Wicket's going to be a key one for this, because his AoE is just going to drive turn meter. Make sure you put your sets back onto Stark if you've moved them, and make sure you put all of your sets back. You know, that's kind of the first thing you want to do, is just make sure that, you know, General Kenobi, for instance, falls way down the list if he doesn't have mods, so you can go through your first, you know, 5-10 rows and he's not on there, and you're like, oh, look good. But he can fall really far. Any characters that don't have Zetas can fall way far down. So ensure everything's back up. If you are a guild with the GP that you're going to be facing Revan, make sure you have your Revan counters modded. It's been a while. Hopefully you have some people using Darkside Bastila with Traya, and you have however many Revans you're likely to face, be it 2, 10, or 50. Make sure you know that you have enough people to take those down in your guild. Nest. My Nest is currently modded to take down as a Revan counter, or make her nice and fast. I'm not sure. I really don't know what the balance of offense and defense is going to be right now, but I'm probably going to leave my Nest. My Nest works really well against anybody, right? So I can use that team with Nest, Rey, BB-8, R2, and Thrawn against, that'll beat pretty much anything. You know, anything that'll beat Revan beats pretty much anything. Traya, I do have trouble with it, but because of Annihilate. If you have clones, speed on Cody. If you have Jawas, speed on Jawa and Engineer. And ensure your Darth Nihilus gets some love so that he can annihilate whoever. Ewoks, Troopers. He's going to be Darth Nihilus, Thrawn, Nest. They're going to be offensive stars, I think, for this. Anything you're going to call BS on, good old Maurice?
No, it's all sound advice. I think Nest is too valuable offensively for this TW. You don't need Revan counters this TW. You have Revan counters in all of these buffs. You know, if you guys place them all, then you have Revan to counter Revan. I don't think you need Revan counters for this TW. I don't think you need... you might need Traya counters at the lower at some of the lower brackets, but I still think Traya is going to be pretty valuable on offense this time too, just for the uncertainty of some of these teams. Like, you need teams that you can recover if you make a mistake. And you're going to make, I'm going to make tons. You're going to make lots of mistakes facing these teams just because you have no idea really what's going on. You're like, why is this person going? Why is he still going? Why are all the debuffs gone? Why do I not have any buffs? It's going to take you, a time or two. Hopefully not. But you're gonna make a mistake, so you want teams that have a little oomph and survivability. Revan and Traya are both those. Ewoks are those. If you want to keep them, I don't suggest placing all of these teams on defense. You do want to keep a little bit, because you want to keep at least one of them just so you have some fun. You want to.
That's a good point.
You get all these cool troopers. Like, all of us had this mace, this super mace character. We put him on defense every time.
Yeah. I never saw him work.
No, it was lame. It was stupid. Like, here, take all these super fun characters. Just you don't get to physically use them.
He was just too valuable on defense, though. It's just like he was lazy. He was like, I don't know what to do with this team. Put mace on it. Oh yeah.
I was being, yes, I got 12 banners on mace. Yes. It's just just get pumped. High fiving guildmates if you got it in 2 battles or less. They're like, yes, good job. Oh, what a nightmare. This is going to be way worse. This is going to be so much worse than Mace. It was just one character before. And now you've got Super Ewoks, including this Teebo. This little Teebo fella is going to cause some massive loops. But the good news is, by the time everybody finds out about it and shares it, it's gone. So that's kind of a... They're doing a good job of testing stuff on us here. Because if something's broken, be like, oh, well, don't worry about it. It's not a thing anymore. Yeah. Thanks Thanks for pointing that out.
Oh, you lost the war because the guild that you went up against knew about the infinite Teebo loop on offense? Oh, we're incredibly sorry about that. We won't do it again. But we weren't going to anyway.
Like, they are keeping... Unfortunately, guys, this seems to be the direction they are taking. Unpredictability with the characters. They did the same thing in Grand Arena, right? 3 versus 3, 5 versus 5. The maps change. Sometimes you have ships, sometimes you don't. You know, you're never going to be able to plan. The days of like fine-tuning your top 5 teams to use consistently, you can still do that, but there's going to be, I highly doubt anybody in this chat, in the Discord, I highly doubt clone troopers are your A, B, or C team, right? Like, they're not. They shouldn't be. If they are, I mean, I guess, shame on you. But, like, Imperial troopers, perhaps. Clone troopers, probably not your, high on the totem pole for, like, best mods, right?
Imperial troopers?
Clone troopers. Imperial troopers, yes. Imperial troopers are, I could see being somebody's, like, a top 4 or 5 team. Yeah. Ewoks, if you haven't developed Ewoks, yes, top 4 or 5 teams. But clone troopers, no. Jawa's definitely not. I don't know. I'm just rambling. I am scared that this is going to eventually translate into Arena.
Yeah, you've said that before. I didn't know that that's a thing.
Well, yes. Lots of games have arenas with, like, rotating bonuses. Like, this week, it's, this character gets, like, this class, like, attackers in our game get 50% crit damage bonus. Just small little things like that. I hope it wouldn't. This week in Arena, clone troopers get 50% health, protection, offense, and defense for each clone trooper ally. That would be a little silly. But
okay, let's bust through some of these questions. Riverboy asks, should clones be offense or defense? I've always used them offense.
I think offense, unless you wanted to fool around with that GK comp that you mentioned. If you wanted to kind of do something with that, I tell you what, throw a squad of that in the back. GK, Barris, and these super clones. Throw them in the back zone. I could put them in a bit of a pickle there, because that's tough. 250% health with Barris healing you for that every time you get crit. Like, the health pool is going to be insane, You could easily have over 100,000, 200,000 health in some cases,
And I don't know, like, I don't know the clones well, but I didn't know Cody had that good of a base speed. And I was thinking about that team thinking, like, you can't really, the speed is the problem. You just kind of have to depend on your opponent not getting a hit. But if Cody can do his AoE and get the other 2 clones up 20%, 20% turn meter is a lot, right? That's 40 if your character's 200 speed. That's a lot of speed. So, that.
Yeah, I
that
wonder if 5s would get 40% turn meter for double taps. Yes, should be right. Taps once, 20% turn meter. Taps again, 20% turn meter. Even though it's out of turn. Mm-hmm. And then you got to think you've got.
No, it's an assist. Oh yeah, if it's out of turn and he's doing it twice, I don't know.
And then you've got Echo, who is god awful. He's a terrible character, but like he attacks pretty much every turn. He's assisting everybody, so he's just going to go and go and go and go and go and go. And every time he's attacking out of turn, he's basically going to constantly be cleansing your team if he attacks out of turn, right? So every turn you're going to get a cleanse on this team. This team...
Yeah, you don't really need tenacity as long as you don't get phased right off the start.
And this is assuming that I am interpreting the text here correctly. I'm just reading the same... If I'm misspeaking or I'm not talking about the mechanics right, guys, please say something, but...
Fatal, I think, is much more informed than we are. He's just correcting us in chat, so listen to Fatal. Thank you, Fatal. Okay, next question. So did I ask that question? Should clones be offense or defense? I've always used them offense from Riverboy.
I don't think I ever answered that as Witten or Tangent. Sorry. I would use them offense. Offense.
Oh yeah, you did. So in the back zone, that's what I was thinking too. Like under General Kenobi, Cody Fast, it might be interesting to pull some of those off if people are willing to remod Cody. Ewok assist behavior is infinite. We did talk about that. It looks like well, we won't know. I'm gonna go into Galactic War tonight and kind of test some of these things. Test the AI on some stuff just by going in and pressing auto. But yeah, maybe we can talk about that more in Patron chat. I don't know what you mean by snowtrooper versus snowtrooper timing, Prime Force.
I'm actually reading that exact thing. That I don't know either.
Is he just meaning like it might matter whose snowtrooper goes first if you're doing mirror matches?
Possibly, but I mean, more than likely that's going to come down to RNG anyway. You know, if your snowtrooper has 5 more speed than my snowtrooper, the chances that we're not getting our turn meter bar filled from all the buffs anyway. You know, I don't know. My Imperial Trooper is not as stout as I'm sure some of you guys is. I got them all gear 11 with gear 12 veers, and that's about it. They're clocked decently, but they're by no means impressive.
And really, it's like if you're on offense using a mirror match and your start goes first, then hopefully your snowtrooper is going to go first as well. If that's your first kill, if that's what you're meaning. Sorry, did you have something else to add there?
No.
First order ship comps. Well, there's from Tecumseh's Revenge. Thanks for all these questions, by the way, guys. You know, there's the one main comp, the fellow in my shard, Executioner, who helped us to do that video with Traya. Killing Traya with first order comps using Phasma. He uses Thrawn as lead, and he starts with first order TIE pilot and first order special forces TIE pilot, which is really essential to that. He's really essential to that team. And then the shuttle with Biggs coming out as the first reinforcement. I don't know who he uses on offense though, and because Biggs I think kind of comes out. A tank usually comes out if there's not a taunting tank on the board, and then Silencer usually comes out after that, and that's usually all I see. but it is a good team on defense. He climbs with it and stays really high with it. And Guttle Maurice also had you know, this first order ships are also, you know, not like the clones where they're kind of feeding off of each other. They just, let's see here.
Well, this one they kind of, the shuttle will fuel them. Will fuel, like if you see that if your ships are in trouble, and you know you can just feed the turn meter to one of them with advantage, and then they could use, it says to use an ability, then they'll heal all the first order ships. That's the way it appears to be on paper here, and inflict target lock, which will further help the Silencer stack his offense. So I mean, I think this is definitely gonna be a better offensive team because you can manipulate. Shuttle is really a user controlled ship. I don't imagine it's very good at all on defense. But with that shuttle, you can really pick who goes next. It's like the first order officer, right? That's what it is. And you can give 100% turn meter to this person, or remove somebody's turn meter to feed turn meter to everybody. It's really things you want to control yourself. So you could, it'd be I haven't used a Special Forces TIE Fighter ship since like the second week it came out. I think it sucks. That could just be for me not knowing how to use it. It might be really good. I don't know, but I've never really used it. So.
Gotcha, Prime Force. So Prime Force has clarified here. Their snow kills your snow, gets lots of turn meter. Yours revives and gets a bonus turn. It might just be like Snowtrooper and Snowtrooper and Snowtrooper and Snowtrooper, and they do revive with full. What do they revive with? They do revive with full health and protection. So it probably won't just be back and forth. Usually you can get more than, 40,000 health plus protection on a Snowtrooper, unless it's really, really not tanky at all. But like I said before, whenever you go in against Imperial troopers, that's something that you want to protect against. It's one of the ways you can protect your Nightsisters. Like you have to have geared 12 Nightsisters with a lot of pieces on them to beat my geared 12 Imperial troopers with a lot of pieces on them to beat my Nightsisters, for goodness sakes. I've had lots of feedback in Grand Arena that people are like, my Imperial troopers just didn't even make a dent in them. So okay. Mind tricks. Will you dream up a GK lead with clones and maybe Xeris that will make you look smart? Thanks. I think Sarge, Clone Sergeant could be pretty cool here. What do you think about Clone Sergeant on a
yes, I guess let's say you're using GK Barris, you almost want to use 3 clones, 5s, Clone Sergeant, and then X. Probably I don't know who to use there. I mean, you could use Cody, but he's not going to have that attack every turn because there's only going to be 3 clones. So I don't know, but you do want, if you get Clone Sergeant with 150% offense, and again, he's going to have 100% crit chance and crit damage, so you can even further amp up his offense or crit damage. He could be hitting hard because, I mean, the traditional GK Barris team has no offense. That's why everybody used Nihilus on it, right? Because that was it. That was your whole offense was one Annihilate. But, with 150 offense on Clone Sergeant, even on 5s, with the crit damage and crit chance, you're getting a lot more firepower out of that old dusty ass GK Xeris team. Jeez, if we see a GK Xeris zone, I guess the glaring counters is zFinn and Poe, right? Like the old school resistance team. But it's going to take you a while to mow through 150 extra health.
I think the problem with zFinn and Poe is that, 6 months ago, that was a hard counter to GK Xeris, but not everybody has given the love to, their Poes and their Finns. I mean, Resistance Troopers certainly, but people haven't given as much love to them as they have had to General Kenobi. If you have Zeta Barris, then, you've certainly got her on. The temptation is to put on those health pieces right away to make her, to maximize her usability. But that's where I think I've been struggling a lot. My guild wants to use zFinn so much, but there's fails with it, and I don't like it. And I think I'm just realizing that that's the reason, is that they used to be a really usable squad, but people have not geared them like they've geared the teams that they're going against, and so you have to be really careful to use them. And if you want to use them, then maybe we should be gearing them up. Next question. What's good 5th for weaker clones? Who's a good 5th? I think Leia's out because you don't need the crit chance because you get 100% crit chance, right? But Gunmaris, what do you think? I've used clones on my buddy's alt account when I was using it to help a guild for a few weeks in the tank raid, and they were so fun. It was the first time that I wished that I had them. They were just so cool. But I'm also thinking with Cody's special and the cooldown that you might want to have all 5 of them there, hey?
Yeah. If you don't want to run, if you want to run Rex separately, or you don't have Echo, or even Cody, I mean, a tank. I would probably run a tank just in case there's a lapse and the other team gets a turn. Cody is incredibly squishy, and if he dies, yikes. Good luck, but again, they are going to have the bonus protection and health, just like Mace did. I think they'll even have more than Mace had. I'm pretty sure. I don't remember the exact numbers, but So, you know,
Oh yeah.
get those
God.
get those exposes, get those shocks, get anything that's max health oriented. Get your Chewbacca, because yes, Fives will have 250% more health, but that should also fuel the damage of exposes, right? I'm not sure if, but it doesn't say max health. It says 50% per clone ally. So because it does not say 50% max health, max protection, et cetera, et cetera, I don't think, I could be wrong, I do not think the stats on your characters will affect these numbers. It will just be off the base. I could be wrong, so don't quote me on that, but
It wasn't for Mace though. You could definitely mod him for his bonuses.
yeah. And again, there's really, I'd hate to say that, then I'd be wrong, and you guys, maybe mod your team up accordingly, and you get in there and be like, damn it, good on Maurice was wrong. Yeah, there's no take backsies. You just lost, and you never get to try that again. So
Yeah.
use your own judgment there. It's just the way it reads to me.
The next question is about from MSR. Thank you for the phonetic pronunciation. Jerk. O for troopers placed on defense. Will modding with high tenacity on Keystone tunes like Stark and Veers be enough to protect the team from Easy Peasy and Darth Nihilus squads? I was just looking at the tenacity. So Magmatrooper has a pretty high base tenacity. Magmatrooper Death Trooper is around 50%. Range Trooper like around 40. Short Trooper 30, and then it just kind of goes down from there. So you could definitely get them tenacious. It's, if it is just a buff, no amount of tenacity is going to stop that buff from being removed by a character who removes buffs. Like, that's right. Like, you can't prevent buffs from being removed by Barris or Ventress. You can't mod against that. Good old Maurice.
I don't know what you're asking.
Okay, I've never seen anyone resist the removal of a buff from, say, Nihilus or Ventress. I've never seen that happen, so it's like, I think that's going to be key with these. Just, I don't know, like, if the buff isn't locked, doesn't say it's locked, can't you just remove them and then you're just dealing with a regular old Imperial Trooper team? That seems like an Achilles heel, and it seems like there are so many unknowns with that team. Somebody's gonna have to convince me or know stuff that I don't know, or convince me that there's a way around that to put them on defense. I think they're going to be an offensive team. Offense or defense for Ewoks and troopers. Best way to counter those teams with the new buffs, especially potentially infinitely looping Teebo. So we talked about the Teebo buff, just talked about the troopers, where I'm thinking the troopers are going to go on offense. But what about the Ewoks, Gil Maurice? What are you thinking for Ewoks?
What, counters for them?
No, offense or defense. And counters, sorry, yes, and counters.
Defense. Defense for sure. Defense for sure on them. Or the Imps, undecided, just for the reason you just stated. Like, we're so unsure how it works. I'd hate to to put them all on defense, and then just the entire guild uses their Gear 3 B2, just cleanses everything and just destroys them.
Exactly.
So that would be really. So I don't know. That's I'm gonna have to flip a coin.
And
hopefully we get. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say B2 is such an amazing character. He's squishy, like, he's super squishy. But if you can just get that one AoE off, he's like, he'll land it. Like, you put some potency on him, he will remove all of the buffs. It's just whether he puts buff immunity on the characters when he does that. That's the kind of key. I think he probably gets some potency pieces as he gets higher geared. But I've taken a gear 8 B2 in against a team kind of at the last, when I was looking in the dredges of my roster. I was like, oh, that worked really well. It was against Ray. I was like, oh, sorry, go on. I keep interrupting you. To take down Ewoks. To take down Ewoks. Troopers. Sorry, you're talking about troopers and B2?
No. I was just saying if that's a buff. Ewoks, you're gonna need Your only chance of really outspeeding Paploo is going to be like Hermit Yoda, BB-8, Rey. Could potentially take out Ewoks, I guess. You're probably going to have to use 3 droids. If you got that Zeta on the IPD, this would be an excellent spot for Zeta IPD against these Ewoks, against these Imperial troopers too. If you guys have a Zeta on your IPD, you are getting your money's worth with all these goofy rule changes. That Zeta has been money for me. What a good Zeta that has been for the past month or so. So if you guys, got your IPD unlocked and just kind of blew your load and put the Zeta on him like I did instantly, it just went nuts on him. He's very, very useful in these situations. Troopers can't gain buffs. Ewoks can't gain buffs. You got yourself a wild card for whatever they place on defense. So I realize that's kind of a small percentage of the player base, but if you do have that Zeta, you are in luck.
But he does remove all of the buffs too, which is lovely. I often use him. I have him gear 11. He's very squishy. I keep, is he going to be better at gear 12? Ahsoka Fulcrum is not better at gear 12. I finally was like, let's find out. No, she's not.
What a disappointment she was.
Such a disappointment.
Yeah,
but the only problem with him is he's squishy, so if Rey. If you're going Rey versus Rey, if Rey points at him, if Grandmaster Yoda points at him, he's done. He's so squishy. But it's very nice to see all of those buffs come off and then see Grandmaster Yoda try and go and spread his buffs to everyone, but he can't, right? Because he's target locked. So that's nice. And Han, of course, is going to be able to stun Paploo. So that's going to be the same as a little short-term fracture there. Han and Thrawn versus the Ewoks. But that's the first thing I would look at in this war. First thing you're going to do is go and look at how many Revan they have. Second thing is you're going to look at how many Ewoks they have. Third thing is how many Traya they have.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure. Han Solo is on standby until further notice. Do not use him until we at least open up the front. Let's see. Because if we just let's say they put these troopers or they put a whatever they put in the front, and we use a bunch of our Hans and Chewies, and then it's poof, here's Ewoks.
Yeah. It's tricky because CLS is a very, very different. If it's modded well, it's a very hard team to come up against without CLS. You can do it with Rey, Revan, Traya, but it's a tough one to, they'll kill my Traya team if I'm not careful. And they've a couple times in Arena lately, they've just been modded so well, they'll kill my Grandmaster Yoda. Just don't point at Jolene now. So it's, you have to, that's a really great team. And if you can't use CLS versus CLS, CLS in the front, Ewoks in the very back, you're going to be tempted to use your Hans, your Reys. It's going to be a war of chance, rolling the dice. Don't be afraid to use your hard counters up front and just figure it out as you go along. Take the wins when you can get the wins. That's what All right. Any more questions? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. It was not really that relevant.
So if you take 1,000-foot view, this is Mind Trick's question. It's our last at the moment. Yeah. Ignoring team comps at the moment, if you take a 10,000-foot view as your strategy, leaning towards all buffed new teams on defense, all on offense, split 50-50. I think that I agree with good old Maurice. Ewoks to defense seems very. I flip-flop all the time overnight with things like this. Certainly with this last TW, it looked completely different in the morning than it did in the night before. But Ewoks on defense is going to be very challenging. You're going to be looking for characters in your roster that outspeed them. So putting them in the back is going to make life hard, and they are a team that can get away on you. So if you save 50 teams and 10% of them get away on you, well, then you have to find 10 more teams that, did I do that math wrong? I don't know. You have to find, like, if some of them get away on you, you have to make sure that you have backup for that. So that's going to be tricky for sure. I think after like thinking this out with you guys, Imperial Troopers will probably stay on offense. As far as like bounty hunters, Kylo Ren unmasked, like, whew, I don't know. There's a lot of really vulnerable teams. A strong defense might just be all the meta, Revan, Traya, Ewoks, CLS, and then, because we have a lot more offense in hand too. So that's kind of where I'm sitting at. We have a lot more offense in hand than we usually do. So you just have to take that into consideration when you're setting your defense, so that you're not letting a guild get 21,150 points on you.
If you think people are going to get the max score this time, you've lost mind. I don't think so. No one's ever faced any of these teams. You can't just expect people to go in just never facing a team before and just wipe the floor with them, not losing a single character. Even if you keep all your Ewoks, like even if you keep all of these characters and the opposing team places one of these factions in the front, you're telling me all 50 people in your guild won't lose one character against a team they've never fought before?
Yeah, maybe I'm wrong about that, but it's, I guess I'm being what's the word?
My bad, I was a little aggressive.
Yeah,
I was a little aggressive there. I apologize. I'm a little feisty tonight, guys.
You are a little feisty tonight. Yeah, we'll have to talk about that after. But I guess my point, I'm being hyperbolic. My point is that we have a lot of offense, more offense than usual. So just keep that in mind. Maybe not 2,100, 21,150.
Who knows? At the end of this TW, after you guys clear the boards, you're going to look at your roster and be like, wow, I still got Palpatine. I still got Rey. I still got Poe. You're like, wow, I still got Thrawn sitting here. I never even used Thrawn. Like, it's just, they've basically given us 3 extra teams, 4 if you count the Jawas.
Which we don't. I mean, somebody will find a use for them, maybe someone brilliant will, like some of those ideas you were saying before, adding to a ZAM team. I don't know about that one, but like adding to Jawa engineer with the droids, that might be a really great team for like offensively, just to take down something really fast. Maybe that'll be the team to take down the clones. What do you think of that?
Maybe. Yeah, because, I mean, they do have shock. Just unfortunately, I don't know. I haven't used the Jawas in so long. It's very difficult for me to theory craft a good team with them. So just,
I was thinking more about like a strong droid team and an engineer to like, just help that all along.
I just don't. I think that team will be very good. I just don't know if it will beat any of these souped up teams, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think so. Maybe if you could start the match with your Jawa engineer and you stun Paplu, if that's the way it works, then perhaps your droids could just, wipe them out, because under HK, your droids go and go and go. You can at least kill, hopefully, Elder before he just gets his revive every single turn. He's going to be fun to use. Too bad mine's like gear 10. He might be gear 11 from that event, but
all right. Well, Gilmore, do you have anything else to add?
No.
We've gone a long time, longer than I planned. So sorry about that. I hope it was useful for folks. Thank you so much again for our document, Prime Force, and for putting all of that together, collecting all of that in chat. Thank you guys so much.
Zeb Asher. I apologize. I think we both have been calling you Zebasher. It's Zeb space Asher.
Oh. I'm sorry.
Sorry about that, man. Or woman.
We'll correct that. We'll correct that on our Patron thing too. Just if we're stupid, just tell us. we're very open to knowing that we're idiots. So, all right. Thank you so much for joining us. And if folks turned up from guilds too, thank you. Thanks for coming. And I hope this helped your guild out. And we shall see you guys in the chat and next week on Tuesday for our live stream. We should have our prep video coming out. This TW takes all of my time when it happens, so hopefully we'll have that out this weekend. A video all about prep, how they get it, how they lose it, and their supercharged abilities when they have it. All right, take care. Gilmaurice, you gonna hum us out?
Oh, Millennium Falcon, defense, territory wars. Nobody knows how to use it yet on offense. That was a popular question. Sorry, Zeb just asked that, and also, I got asked that earlier in a message. So I would use Falcon on defense just purely because you don't quite know how to use it yet. But that's me.
All right,
Bye-bye.
and I better unlock mine right now.
Yeah, I haven't even done the event. I got home about 30 minutes before the stream started. So,
okay, take care.